I drove over 700 miles to eastern Tennessee just to learn how to build with dirt.
All right.
What you see here is us doing some cob mixing. Humans have been building with cob for millennia. It's very simple. It's dirt with a little bit of clay, an aggregate like gravel or sand, and water. And usually you also include straw to be the fibrous network that keeps the cob connected over time. The final result can be anything from simple huts to beautifully engineered homes that are among the most energy efficient, low cost, and healthiest buildings to live in. And that kind of explains why so many of us are interested in learning this ancient forgotten art. There were over 20 different people from completely unique backgrounds that showed up to this workshop, from young to old, from rich to poor, from East Coast to West Coast. It didn't matter. There seemed to be like no pattern in the lives that we had lived up to that point, but all of us, for our own reasons, had sort of arrived at, cob. This is the way forward. Now that thumping sound you hear is the sound of tampers. Camping tampers, as a matter of fact. We didn't just learn to build with cob. We actually spent the week learning 3 different types of earthen building materials, each with their own specific, use cases, aesthetics, benefits, and drawbacks. Those were rammed earth, straw clay, and of course cob. Now, rammed earth is what we probably spent the majority of the week working on, which isn't what I originally had in mind, but I do find myself with a lot of admiration and respect for what it takes to build rammed earth. And I'm excited to plan and visualize how I can use this material in my own home. Now, Alex is a bit more of a practical guy. He's not what you would call an earthen building purist. And to be honest, I don't quite know how I feel about that or where I fall in the grand scheme of things about how pure I want to take some of my earthen buildings. But we were basically building a concrete cement rammed earth wall. And personally, if you're having an indoor wall like that, probably wouldn't use. And even Alex said that, to be fair. But this was an outdoor wall that we were building, which let's go ahead and do the unveiling of, because wow, after all of this work, tamping and mixing and making sure the mixtures were right, which by the way, there's a pretty decent margin of error, so it's not rocket science. And whatever this thing Alex is doing, after a whole bunch of this right here, we were ready to unveil this beautiful outdoor rammed earth wall that will be used for an outdoor shower. And that's kind of the thinking behind using this particular mixture, is it's going to be outdoors, exposed, and you won't really be breathing in those particles, at least we don't think anyways, so all is well. Next up in the week was learning to build with straw clay, which was actually a material I knew almost nothing about before showing up. And again, it is very simple. It is straw, basically 99% straw with some mud kind of coated over it and then tamped down into some forms and some, I don't know what, I think he called them trusses or joists. I don't know, I'm using these probably wrong on some of this terminology, but we're tamping it down in this structure. And basically the reason you would want to use straw clay is for insulation, to have a higher insulation value. And that really just depends on your specific situation of where you're building. You want to do some research on that.
Alex, how's this looking down here, would you say? Is this almost saturated enough? Or?
Yeah, it's good. If you look at it closely, you can tell that every piece of straw is coated with mud. It's really thin mud, but it's on there.
Okay.
And then finally, it was like, what everyone had, I think, been waiting for during the week, which was cob. Now, we didn't do a large cob project during this specific workshop, but we did get to mess around with the medium. And honestly, I feel pretty good about that. We got to work on some other earthen structures, and cob seems fairly straightforward. You know, there's a lot of ways you can like second guess your mixtures and stuff, but Alex was great in answering all these questions. So, you know, he also has not invented, but he's helped pioneer this basically this form system for cob, which lets you get pretty straight walls. So yeah, if you're around Tennessee, or really it doesn't matter where you are, because we've had people from, again, literally all over the country, even the world out there in Tennessee at this workshop. If you want to learn how to build earthen buildings, I had a great time. It was a great time, and let's not forget the people. The people that I met here at the workshop, honestly, they were the best part about it. Just can't even begin to get into it. But the other students, the other participants, it was just fascinating learning as much from them as Alex and Joy about every topic, from toilet composting to solar to real estate. Yeah, it was a pretty great time. It makes me very excited for the future as we lock down currently our own land in Arkansas. We're getting, by the time this video comes out, we may already have purchased that land, so that's going to be pretty cool. And, you know, on this channel, basically this is going to document the journey it takes to build an off-grid sustainable home, among other things. It's not just about the home, but really about living an intentional life where you're conscious and aware of things you're doing and how they affect yourself and your environment, right, around you, other people, etc. So thank you for watching. Go ahead and drop a subscribe if that's a topic you're interested in, and if not, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. It doesn't really matter. You know, the act. You know, this is the last thing I'll say before we wrap it up. Why are we doing this YouTube channel? I think the very act of documenting this, of sitting down, reflecting on my thoughts of the week as I put this project together, put the footage together, like, this is where the value is at for me. It allows me to reflect on it. And then as a bonus, any feedback I get, any advice in the comments, maybe one day I'll be posting a video of our solar array and somebody will give me perhaps a life-saving piece of advice, right? Like, hey, you know, you need to wire it this way, or hey, don't use those types of panels, or whatever it might be. I think that's where a lot of value can be found. So that's why we're doing it. And yeah, cool. All right, peace.